Jesus, did I still post it? How do I effectively scrape for some of these things? This is my new strategy here. So I want this message verification. Going to scrape a massive list of leads.
I tried AI dropshipping for 7 days and the results I got are absolutely insane. Within these 7 days I started a brand new dropshipping store and the only rule I had is to only use AI. Now I used AI to find my product, I used AI and it has been the best method for me in the beginning. I did like some product description. So of course we quickly had to set up like the TikTok pixel and stuff like this, but this is like irrelevant for this video. And then I basically just clicked through there, did some different settings. For example, I always only target that are like 18 years or older, but for this product I left everything else pretty open because this is not like only a female or man product, this is basically unisex. Everybody can use this air cooler in the summer. So then I just went to the last page where I had to upload my creatives, and here I put some more work into this. I think it could have even been better, but basically AI was doing the whole thing. I just submitted my stuff to, for example, create UGC to get some ad creatives, and also for the store it was made completely by AI, just as the product. So this was definitely a real success. $100 basically just generated with AI in dropshipping marketing. So with that said, let me know what you thought about this video. Should I
Crazy.
So that by the end of save and go back. Now, as you can see, that's a better size for our logo. So let's adjust it once again. All right, looking good. Now, as you can see, we also have a setting here to adjust the mobile height. So if you click up here, you can customize how your store looks on mobile. Here in the logo, for example, we can see that it's still very small. So let's drag this as well. Now let's go back to desktop view.
If you want to learn a skill in 20 and 26,
I built a dropshipping store while traveling and now it makes me over $1,000 a day. Working only 2 hours a day, combining the business model with my normal life to see if it's as easy as people claim it to be. So let's look at the results and how it's actually going. It's been building slowly, but we've made a total of $15,000 so far. As we can see here, the peak is $1,000 days and the recent days have been pretty good, 800. Yesterday, $1,400. And as we can see, the best days so far have been over $1,000 days.
Clicking the wrong thing.
Hey guys, Tom from the Ecom Zone. In this video, we're going to go through how to build the perfect Shopify product page in 2026 because times have changed. Now, the reason why we need to optimize our product pages is because if we have a higher add to cart rate, then you're going to have more sales. So let's just say your add to cart rate right now is 2.75%, you have checkout reach 1.5%, and then your purchases is around 0.5. Now, if you have a lower add to cart rate, then you definitely need to watch this video. Now, after watching this video and making all the changes, you should see a bump in your add to cart rate. So give it about a week or two and your add to cart rate should like 1.5x or 2x. It really depends on how much changes you make to your product pages and if your customers even care. Before I continue with this video, guys, make sure to smash that like button. And if you're in e-com or dropshipping, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content. Anyways, enjoy the rest of this video. So the first thing we're going to talk about is your product images. Because if you think about it, guys, most of your users are going to come from Facebook app and Instagram app on their mobile, right? And when you land on your website on mobile, the main thing they're going to see is your product image. So it's in your best interest to make sure that the product images are spot on. So I can't stress this enough, but if your current images are inconsistent, they're low quality, there's no models in your images, then you need to start using your own product images and stop stealing them elsewhere. Do not just steal the images from AliExpress, especially if they are terrible images. There's so many terrible images on AliExpress and I keep seeing beginners ripping them and not improving on them. Either send the products to yourself to take photos or use AI to generate your product photos. Now AI is in a place where it's actually improving and you can use AI to generate realistic looking product photos, but only for certain products. Normally these are just basic products with less detail, less patterns, like a supplement or a cream or rings. However, when it gets to complex jewelry where there's like a butterfly or there's like loads of gems, etc., it kind of can't figure out how to replicate that product. So that's why you have to send it to yourself and take your own photos. Now, if you don't have a setup at home, then I advise you to buy a ring light, a phone tripod stand or camera stand, whatever you want to use to take the photos. Then you also want some sort of backdrop. Now, you don't have to buy a massive backdrop. It could just be a small little lightbox backdrop, which you can get on Amazon, and then any props that you want for your product shots. This is so your customers feel that they are buying from a real brand and not just any dropshipping brand. If you think about it, guys, everyone is trying to dropship, everyone's starting an e-com store and selling the same products, so you really need to stand out and basically be the leader of that product. And your add to cart rate should increase just by tweaking your product images. You'll be surprised. So here's an example, Marina Poet. They sell these wooden figures, and you can see these photos are taken from his own home. He's basically ordered all the products into himself, took these and just uploaded it to his website. And they don't have to look picture perfect. Actually, the more natural it looks, the better. And also the benefit of sending the products into yourself, you can sample it, test the quality, take videos of your products, and create ads with them. So here's another example of a jewelry brand using their own product images. Now you can find the exact same necklace and jewelry and bracelet on AliExpress with terrible images. However, now that they're using their own background, their own images, their own model shots, people actually think it's a legit brand. However, you can literally find these necklaces and jewelries and bracelets on AliExpress. And also Rose Skin Co. selling their bundles, and you can see they have models holding the products. So fun fact, 67% of users on DTC stores seek out non-product content, including values, stories, and materials. So product pages must include high quality visuals, models using your products, and videos as they cannot touch your products. Especially if you're selling fashion products or jewelry, you kind of want to include images of models wearing your products so that your users can see how it looks on a person. Now above the add to cart button, this is what you want to include. So the first things first is you must have your reviews under your product title. I use judge.me, and it is a free forever app that you can install on Shopify and start importing AliExpress reviews onto your website. Always have some sort of comparison price for at least 20% off. So if you want to sell something for, let's say £50, then you should set a comparison price at like £70. Make sure your variant names are grammar checked. I've seen so many beginners not grammar check their variant names or even their product titles, etc. It's just unprofessional and it just puts your customers off from buying from you. Make sure your add to cart button is bold with a solid background color. As you can see here, this is dark green with add to cart in the middle.
Right guys, we are back. I appreciate all the love on the last video, done pretty well. This one is 10x more valuable and higher level, to be honest. So this weekend, I basically spent yesterday and today going through my ad account and basically comparing my best months, $1 million months, over 6-figure profit months as well, like my biggest revenue, biggest profit months. And I compared how we were attacking the business to our worst months of what we were doing. I've confirmed basically what works of scaling our brand and ad accounts to $1 million per month and all the students we worked with as well. And the strategy is clear because sometimes as a founder, you can get lost. Like obviously you've got to try new things constantly. So when we've had our worst months, we've basically been trying loads of things and it hasn't performed as well. But as soon as you try these things and they don't work, you iterate and you go back to what's working and you double down on that. So it's clear to me, you guys watching this, everyone knows how to make ads, but there's a strategy to getting $1 million per month and higher profits. There's an actual strategy to it to scale with a lot more ease, especially like super profitable months. Like even if you're doing 500K a month, but you're doing a 6-figure profit month, like that's really good. But this comes with like actual strategy. So in this video, I'm going to be diving down. So bear with me. I'm going to be talking. I might write a few things. I've got a couple bits on a Word document as well, but I need to go through this on my brain. Like I've mapped out the key points and I'm going to break everything down. So you're going to attack your ad account way better. And it comes down to a core concept of like brand messaging, because a lot of people can get caught in the source of just testing loads of things for the sake of testing loads of things. So right now, I'm going to basically dive into the key findings I found compared to our best months and our worst months and what changed and what you guys need to focus on to make sure you're scaling, okay? How to make winning ads to scale to $1 million per month. It is strategy, it's not volume. So that's what I'm gonna tell you. So the key findings are basically found from our best month. So number one, 78% of the ad account spend was in our best performers with a few concepts taking the most spend. So this wasn't loads of concepts, it was a few concepts taking spend. So I'm telling you guys, like you have to watch this video throughout. The value here is gonna be crazy, especially if you've got an existing brand. If you wanna get to the next level, this is what's gonna do it, okay? 70 to 80% of the ad account spend was in the best performers with a few concepts taking the most spend. We doubled/tripled down on winning concepts. So when a winning concept was working, we went hard on it. So like that included taking those winning concepts of winning ads and really building them into offer variations as well. So you got your winning concept and then you can basically take that ideation and concept, but make sure it's focused on the seasonal offer. So that's for seasonal offerings. Tested new concepts, but all targeted. So our best months, we actually tested the least amount of ads, but focused on what worked, okay? Media buying, this is super important as well. We turn off less ads. We didn't manage the micro results. We focused on 30, 90 and yearly results to back ad creation and turning stuff off. So we weren't turning stuff off on the weekly, we weren't turning stuff on the bi-weekly, but 30 and 90 days. We kept brand messaging, what we wanted to show and we believed would work. So like how we wanted to build the brand and like the pain points, the brand messaging, the storytelling. If that was in the ad and we thought it was good ad and we know this is the messaging we want to get across, we left it in there, even if the results were not as good basically. We focused on the brand messaging, okay? That was the key thing. One of the other biggest things, how we got the most out of the ad account was we surf scaled based on contribution margin percentage. So we would push the budgets when the contribution margin and the front end profits were highest, looking at the overall profits of the ad account. When the overall profits were lower, we scaled down. So we didn't just let it run. So we tried both and I'll show you the vice versa on our worst months. After I show you this vice versa, I'm going to talk about how we find these winning concepts with the scaling pod and your testing pod and what really needs to happen to make sure you're getting all these winning concepts and what process directed to your brand on how you make these winning concepts. Our findings on our worst months. As founders, it's good to test new things, but sometimes they don't work, but this is the comparison. So it's good for you guys to know what hasn't worked when trying new things, but you've always got to try new things, you've always got to iterate, but then at the end of the day, it does often come back to the basics, especially with e-com. It generally comes back to the basics and that is your brand messaging and doubling down on what works. So this is what we did on our worst months and this is what we found. So over testing ads focused on bottom of funnel ads rather than not brand messaging. So we're focused on bottom of funnel, like converting ads. How are we going to convert them sale? How are we going to convert sale? Bottom of funnel statics, AI ads, like focusing on so many new concepts of stuff other people are trying, what is working for other people and just testing as many different concepts as possible, turning off ads on the weekly and bi-weekly. So basically micromanaging, a reduction in ads based on brand messaging and the USPs of the brand, why you, who you are, what to do, what do you stand for, what are the stories and the pain points you created and that's why you are on this ad. Like what's this brand about? What do you solve? What's your story? Why you? So we focused less on that and started basically looking at what other people were doing and like, right, let's take all these ad concepts. This is all working. But we focused on what we're good at and who we are. And the main one was we didn't double down on what was working, but focused on how can we find the next winner and volume. The volume was the problem. We were not focused on what was working, we were focused on volume testing. So another thing, we built systems with the team to produce ads and let them rip, make ads and lost the core focus on what was working before. So I was the creative strategist mainly on our best months. As we built loads of systems and stuff, there's so many people making ads, there's so many people doing their own thing. The core focus of what worked before got lost in all the systems. So we have to retract and basically focus and go back to what was working, go back to the basics. So another big thing is seasonal offers. So a lot of brands will have an offer, change the offer, but there's certain times in the year. So Black Friday, Valentine's, all these specific times, when we had a big offer coming up, we would really get the team focused and myself on making ads and using what was been working in the ad account and doubling down this for the offer and making these specific offer ads. And we lost that and we would just been making ads. And we stopped really doubling down on the seasonal ads. And that was huge. That's a huge part of like how you stay seriously profitable and get that purchase on the front end and how you scale. I'm going to try and describe this. This is what you need to do and this is what works. So you essentially have a scaling pod of creatives, funnel, ads, concepts. You have a scaling pod and you have a testing pod. Scaling, testing. These should not merge in the sense of do not start throwing loads of ads into your scaling campaigns. Do not start throwing loads of new stuff on what is working. Do not break what is working, okay? So your scaling funnel, ads, concepts, keep that there and double and triple down on it. Your testing, keep it separate. Or if you are targeted testing, you can input into the scaling campaign, but keep the testing separate unless it's targeted testing. So for example, if you're making iterations on a winner, yes, you can continue it in the scaling pod. Does that make sense? But keep the testing testing pod separate. So if you're going for bottom of funnel statics, AI ads, brand new stuff that is not relevant to your brand messaging, keep it separate, okay? You're trying to find new ideas to add into the scaling pod, but it could destroy the scaling pod because they're completely different from what you're running already. So the core factor of what you need to do is you need to, number one, double down on the scaling pod. So analyzing the scaling campaigns and everything that's working on the macro, so the 30-day, the 90-day, and the yearly, and double down on the iterations within that scaling pod. If you have a winning concept, recreate that winning concept in so many different ways. Locations, actors, scripts, hook, B-roll, avatars, niches. But that winning concept, make it into 50 different new ads, 100 new ads over the periods. And all those winning concepts, make them into offer ads as well on the seasonal offers. Very important. This is what is driving the profit and revenue, okay? So make sure always doubling down on the scaling section of your ad account, concepts, brand. Testing. When you have all these new ideas and you want to test all the new concepts, keep it separate. Keep the testing maybe in an ABO or a separate campaign. And yes, you can bulk upload volume ads, but do not let that disturb the scaling pod. Once you find a winning concept, you can then put it into the scaling pod, and then you can start to double and triple down on that. So the key finding is keep the new random tests and variations that you want to try that is not so targeted, but you're just testing and finding new angles, finding new creatives, testing winning competitor ads as well. Keep that separate, but double and triple down on what is working, okay? How do we find our scaling pod? This is the question. How are we going to find our scaling funnel? To get the scaling pod and to get to that $1 million months, how you create your concepts is very important. So you must figure out what is your brand messaging, you must figure out what are your pain points, you must figure out why you are unique and who you are and what is your story, whilst focus on the sales funnel process. So you basically need to find, and this is how you create the concepts, you figure out your brand messaging, who you are, what's your story, why are you different, why you, who are you as a brand, why are you different, what's your position in the market, why is it different than everyone else, and then you need to stick to the sales funnel process of top of funnel ads, middle of funnel ads, bottom of funnel ads, and put your brand messaging into that, into the top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel, and this is how you create concepts that are going to go into your scaling pod, and this is how you scale to $1 million per month, not plastering loads of bullets for testing loads of different things, but being strategic about it. So we've got top of funnel ads. Let's go that first. So what is top of funnel ads within your brand messaging? This is not random top of funnel ads. This is top of funnel ads with your brand messaging. So guys, I'm going to break down top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom of funnel concepts of the sale process that you need to match with your brand messaging, and these are going to go into your scaling pod. And this is how you're going to get to $1 million per month. Before I go through that, boys, if you go to the link below, if you're serious about scaling to a brand, I assure you, me and my team will work with you and do our best to scale you up. We have hundreds of results of taking brands past 500K a month to $1 million per month, and we will work with you directly, okay? Directly, give you a full diagnosis and work with you directly to work with your brand, get your brand messaging right.
Because every single month I bought my dream AP for $60,000, and most importantly, I'm helping my family out, and I honestly just have the freedom to do whatever and anything that I want. Basically, I've built a dream life for myself.
This is a crazy title.
YouTube, what's good? Welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving 10,000 hours worth of advice when it comes to dropshipping. If you guys are new here, don't know who I am, my name is Kevin Martins. I'm in the space for the last 2 years now, and I've done over 7 figures in total revenue. And I've done this all without having to waste a single cent on ad spend and keeping anywhere from 50 to 70% profit margins. And so in this video, I'm going to go ahead and explain some of the most valuable lessons that I've learned since the beginning of my journey. I was actually journaling this morning, and I was just writing everything down. I was like, you know what, this would be a perfect video for me to make because my younger self would have loved this, right? Things to avoid, things to do, and stuff that's really gonna just move the needle, right? So the first thing that I'm gonna be talking about here is focusing on your own journey, right? Don't compare yourself to people that are on chapter 10 when you're just on chapter 1, okay? And comparison should be something positive in your life. Comparison to me now is something that I take as inspiration, right? I like to compare myself to people that are closer to my goal rather than use comparison as something that is gonna take something away from me and just bring me down, right? Because right now, at this very moment, you're either on chapter 1, 2, 3, or maybe you're on chapter 10. You're an absolute G making 7 figures a month and you're still watching my videos. Welcome. But most of you guys are right here, right in the beginning stages of your journey, and you're comparing yourself to people that have been in the space for the last 10 years, making the money that you wish you could make in just like a week. But it's just not simply like that, right? This is the game of longevity. E-com is something that a lot of people see as a side hustle to make a really quick bag, but in reality, it should be something like a marathon where you're trying to stay in the game for as long as possible. And so when you start visualizing the game from more of a longevity standpoint and looking up to people that are hitting these crazy months and using it as inspiration to almost show you that it's actually possible, then that's when comparison becomes something good. I live in Miami, okay? I live in the most chaotic city in the world where I'm seeing like millionaires every single solitary day. I'm seeing SPJs going up and down the road. I'm seeing 16-year-olds that are making $100,000 a month. And it's absolutely crazy, and I love it because I see that as a very competitive atmosphere for me to go that like art, right? And you know, again, use the comparison as something positive rather than something negative. I'm 24 years old. There's kids out there that are making way more money than me, that are way younger than me, and what, I'm just gonna be like sad about it? I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I'm such a fucking bitch, I'm so old. Fuck no, bro, I'm gonna use that as motivation and keep on trying to get better, okay? So that's my first point there. We're not gonna spend too much time on it because I think you guys get the gist. Number two is gonna be speed is everything in this game. The faster you can execute an idea, the quicker you'll get data, okay? With more data, you'll progress quicker since you'll know exactly where to go. And so I feel like this is a data type of game, right? You're collecting data every single solitary day because you either find out something works or you figure out that something just didn't do shit and you move on and you pivot, right? And so a good example here is gonna be posting consistently and testing new concepts, okay? So whether you're posting videos organically, whether you're launching a new campaign on your Facebook Manager, right? It's all about speed here. Because if you're lagging on posting your first video, launching your first campaign, people are gonna walk all over you, right? And also, you're not gonna be able to just collect data because if you don't post that video, if you don't launch that ad, you'll never make money, okay? And you'll never really see where you need to go. So for example, if you're a complete beginner, you post your first 10 to 20 videos, you see that all of them do shit but one. One video was an outlier. One video got you 100,000, I don't know, views with 500 demand comments. That's actually an insane ratio. And so you would know to double down on that concept and do more of that stuff. And so if you didn't post that volume, those 20 videos consistently, then you would have never come to that consensus. And so that's why I tell all of you, right? Even my students in my program, post 2 to 4 videos a day so you get data, so you get feedback a lot quicker, so you know exactly where to go. Because if you're only posting 1 video a day, right, and you're taking your time and you're over analyzing absolutely everything in the business and you're not fucking posting, then you're gonna move like an absolute slug, okay? The results are almost guaranteed, okay? But the speed in which you get the results varies. It varies on the person, and that applies with paid dropshipping, organic dropshipping, whatever you're doing in life. Speed is absolutely crucial to just see where you need to go. And so this is something that happened to me. At first, when I first started my organic dropshipping journey, I would post 1 video a day because it had to be absolutely perfect or else I wouldn't post it. And I think that's like, something that was not wrong with me in the beginning. I think a lot of you like to overanalyze everything, especially if you're a little bit of a smarter person, right? We tend to analyze a lot of different things. I'm not saying I'm smart, by the way. I didn't go to college. I just have a GED in high school. But what I'm saying is just post more volume. Start posting, even if it's not perfect, post it, right? So you get data quicker and you know exactly where.
I make $20,000 every single month without dropshipping, without affiliate marketing, or any of these trending businesses. I found this business model in 2023, scaled it in 2024, and in 2025, I made over $200,000 in profit. The best part of this, though, is that it actually only requires around 4 hours of work every single day and requires 0 investment. All you need is your phone, your laptop, and no, I'm not trying to sell you any dreams because this is exactly what I do, and I've been successful in it since 2024. So in this video, I'm going to reveal what this business is, how it works, and how you can do it as well. So let's get into it. So this is actually called UGC. UGC videos are basically brands where they pay everyday people to promote their product. Think of those ones you see on TikTok or Instagram where you just see like a person speaking to the camera, casually talking about a product or an app or something like that. That is UGC. All you need to do this, and where you just see like a person speaking to the camera, casually talking about a product or an app or something like that. That is UGC. All you need to do this is a phone, so you have a simple setup, you have to have a natural tone, and you don't even have to edit it that much because the edits are very, very simple. It's not about the edit, it's more about the actual person. It's meant to basically look as if that person's just made a video on it and the brand's just taken that video and uploaded it themselves. The reason why brands pay a lot for this is because they actually perform way better than a lot of their influencer campaigns and invite to collaboration and all these different ones. They perform a lot better because they look real and they look like real customers doing real testimonials. And social proof is #1 in this industry. And we'll go on to that later, but yeah, UGC videos look real, they feel authentic, and they convert. And that's what people pay. So instead of hiring out a studio and forking out so much money on these expensive ads that would cost tens of thousands, you'd have to pay a cameraman, you'd have to get studio space, to do all this stuff. Instead of that, they could just pay someone a couple $100 or $500 and they can get them to do the video in the room, and it usually converts better than the studio ones. For example, LimeWire, pretty big brand. It was actually a brand back in the day that I used to use myself, and they rebranded. They booked a call with me, they found me on the internet, they found my website, they booked in $12K a month deal with me. So, that's how much money these companies have got. So LimeWire, actually, they found my website, they booked in $12K a month deal with me. So, that's how much money these companies have got. So LimeWire, actually, they used to pay me $12,000 every single month just for making videos. At the time, maybe I had 7,000 followers, around about that. I work with multiple brands, and that's how I do well over $20,000 every single month. Because obviously, if you've got one brand deal that's at $12,000, then you're over halfway there. I'd say 95% of the UGC work I've done, I've not even put it on any profile. I've just sent it to them, and they've done the rest. So you just make the videos, send them off, then they use it in their ad accounts or they use it on their profile. You can upload the video yourself. We'll talk about that in a bit, though. So let me talk about how you can make 10K a month or even more with this step-by-step guide right here. So step 1 is to find brands that might need UGC videos, and it could be different ways. You can do this by just scrolling through your feed. There you go. Look, I found one already, Kive.ai, and that'd be a good brand for me because that is my actual niche. AI is one of my niches that I target. So we go to messages. We might have already messaged these. I send that many. Look, there you go. I've already messaged them. Hi, just saw your ad pop up. Look really cool. We actually have some street ad concepts that would suit your ad really well, and they're proven to lower our client CPA. Let me know if you'd be down to hearing them. So you just basically reach out to these companies. Obviously, as well, I give a little bit of social proof. They're proven to lower our client CPA. And obviously, if they ask me to prove it, I'll send them a screenshot. Let me know if you'd be down to hearing them. This wasn't the best outreach. I've improved my strategy since then. It's not the best outreach, but it will do. But that's one easy way you can quickly find. So yeah.
Look, clothing brands are undoubtedly the easiest way for beginners to scale their dropshipping store, but everybody's overcomplicating it by telling you to sell these crazy problem-solving products, which require you to understand a heavy understanding of marketing. And so in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the 3-step process of how I actually go about building these clothing brands that can generate me like 420K in just 2 months. Step 1, I'll find the product with you completely live. So it's actually finding the right product, the desire-based product. And then step 2 is how to actually use AI effectively enough to convert customers. People are using this in the worst way possible, and it doesn't look real, and the strategy is impossible if you don't know how to use this properly. And then step 3 is simply scaling. So how do I take a product that's got good ROAS and actually be able to scale it to big numbers? Because all you need is a good product, you need good AI creatives, and then all you need to do is press a few buttons. But it's the same math that I use in order to scale this exact brand here. Now, what do most people tell you to do? They tell you to go to Calidata and they tell you to rip products, or they tell you to make long form ads, whatever it is, which are basically just methods that isn't going to allow you to make consistent money month after month. Because what you'll find is that you'll hit a plateau. You won't know how to take these, supplements from Calidata that you've just ripped the content for, and then turn that, make your own content from the data that you have and make your own creatives, which are going to be able to unlock scale. It's going to be very hard for you to find your own creatives because you simply don't know how to market. You haven't learned any of the skills yet, which is why I built my entire program around starting with these desire-based products. And then once you understand that fully and the marketing behind it, you can start another brand in the supplement space or whatever it is you want to do there. In the program, it's outlined very detailed how you can take one of these products and make good creators for it. But like I said, you need to learn marketing. Now, in order to find my product, I'm going to simply go over to the Facebook ads library, where every single ad is already there. Every ad that is run by an e-commerce store is there. Every dropshipper, whoever it is running ads on there if they're running meta ads. And so I'm going to find my products using this tool that's available to me, which I'll show you in a second. You can also use something like Instagram. Now, if you just act as if you are a consumer on Instagram and you add products to your cart, you act to Meta that you're already a consumer, you're going to get targeted all these different products, especially if you're niche specific. And that's how you can find these clothing brands popping up left, right, and center from other dropshippers. And each product that you find, you can simply test within your clothing brand. Now, before we go into the product research method, let me just be clear that you are not just pump and dumping. We're going to get into that in a second as well. This is not a simple, I'm going to find a product and I'm going to test it, I'm going to make money, and I'm going to test another product and make money. That is just not going to work. You might as well be Calidata ripping and just doing that, because this is still a long-term brand with repeat customers. And you see, most people who are starting these clothing brands, they do not keep it consistent. They don't keep it going. And so the difference here is that you'll keep it going and turn this into a longevity brand. Now, I've come to the Facebook ads library and I want to test shoes because my niche store is selling shoes. And so I found this simple brand. Now, the important thing to note is that you can literally sell any product that you want. Any product in clothing, in jewelry. If you can quickly identify what the product is with a quick glance, I can instantly see this is a sandal and these people are selling sandals, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to make money with, instead of having to go to the problem solving route, where if they just showed a picture of the supplement, I wouldn't quite know what that product is and I probably wouldn't be sold on it. Whereas if I like this sandal, I'm going to buy it based on the image. That's why it's a lot easier. So this brand in particular, say I want to replicate this brand because I like what they're doing here, because they have a problem solving mechanism behind it. And so they have the whole sciencey part around it and how it's better for the actual shoe. So I would use this in my own marketing too, but I'll just go a bit more ham on the advertising and the testing of the products. All right, so that one was for an Indian store. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to filter it. You can filter it to anywhere, but I'm just going to do the UK and then scroll through and try and find something that looks like they could be drop shipping. And you're going to be able to tell pretty quickly. Like this one, for example, you can tell that this is a drop shipper. And let's see. I've also got it filtered on impressions high to low, which is really good. So I can see actually if these guys are scaling, which they are at the top here. I'll do a quick search and I can't actually find a product from a Chinese supplier. So that tells me that it's a brand. And so I'll just keep moving on and try and find the next one. So this is an interesting niche, which I could potentially go after. It's Foot Relief Journal. They have an interesting funnel. They've got a whole listicle going on, but that's not the point that I'd be starting on here. It'd be more testing their best sellers. So I would find this, looking to the best sellers and potentially test the ones that are selling the best on their shop. So I could go see the best sellers here. So this is like the best seller because it's the top ad in the ads library as well. And then I might just stay in this niche. I could test these different products, see how they perform, check their ads library, test the other products that they have in there, and also test around with some other creatives based on their current winners too. And that's just going to give me a head start because I'll be able to see that momentum very quickly. And it's a desire-based product, so I don't need to explain. I don't need to make that listicle that person made. They're just doing that to increase their conversion rate. I don't need to do that to explain to the customer why this is going to help them. I know it's slightly problem solving, but you can see by the actual look and the design that it's a nice design. And I can just say a few things like plantar fasciitis, test it out, and that is going to resonate with the customer. And I could get those sales very quickly. And now that brings me on to my second point, which is because we are doing this desire-based testing, we can test very simple static ads, which are just photo ads, in order to be able to scale this product. So when we're launching our ads, we can do this very, very simply after you've set up the website and got the offer up, whatever it is. So what I would do in this situation is I would find this specific brand, Feet Relief Journal. This is going to likely just be a Facebook page where they're running ads too. And so I could also try and find their actual brand, which is Auto Balance. So I can just duplicate this. So yeah, there's only 5 results on this one. So I'll get this up, Auto Balance. I also have it set to just the UK. So I'm going to change that to all because I'm likely going to get more results from their ads library. Let's change that. So now that I've got their ads library, I would simply just look at these creatives here. They've done simple split tests, but I would just create lots of static ads around this specific product. And you can do that using AI, and you can test the product on a plain white background. You can test the product on an actual person, and it is super simple to do. So I'll just generate that. And so now that I have this product, which I can potentially test, like I said, all I've got to do is make simple image ads. I can do this with Nano Banana Pro, and then I can also turn these into videos if I want, with something like Kling 3.0. These are the two AI tools I use primarily in order to make my ads. These are for the photos, and then you can also make videos with this if you want to just test a little bit further. Like, I just cooked this up really quickly, and you know, once you know the prompts, you can just save the prompts and keep using them over and over again. That is just a strategy that I recommend you do. Play around with the AI tools and you'll know what to do eventually in terms of prompting. Very simple stuff. And this is the actual photo that I come up with. So I just thought, okay, what does my dream outcome, like avatar, what do they want to experience? Well, they want to be on a mountain. They want to be able to climb a mountain because their problem is that they have plantar fasciitis, they have problems with their feet, they have problems with their knees, and this trainer essentially helps them overcome that to come, to climb mountains. And it's a beautiful moment. It's in the sunset, and so it feels very empowering for people. I also just added a little sort of hiking stick there just to make it look like he hikes a bit as well, and he looks slightly older too. But yeah, essentially the trainer is in the shot, and that's the most important thing. And then in this ad, I might test this by itself. I might test other things successful for the competitor. So a very simple ad that I've just made here. I've just literally made it on my board. So I'd usually use something like Canva in order to make these ads. This is the go-to tool in order to make these static ads. But that is essentially what I would do. And like I said, you can also turn this into a Kling 0.3 video. You could just be walking off into the sunset, hopefully not off the cliff. But I could be testing these products every single day. Most people think that you have to wait a long time just testing one singular product to decide whether or not it's a winner or loser. We follow very, very simple rules in the program, and I'm going to show you that in a second as well, of how we scale it. And if you follow very simple rules, you know when to just move on to the next product. With desire-based products, this is very simple because we know if the product isn't appealing to people and they see it and they don't instantly resonate with it and don't instantly buy it, then we can just move on to the next one. But the ones with the best data, we can of course stick to those products and make sure that we test enough in order to see if it is a real winner. But what we're trying to find is this a winner? And if it is, and if we can turn this into a potential brand, then we're going to do that. Now, my final point is, when you find that potential product, which you can turn into a brand that makes you a lot of money consistently month after month, what do you do and how do you actually get to the point of making this money? Well, it's very simple. You just scale the advertising. This is why I love e-com so much, because as soon as you find something that works, all you need to do is scale it. And that's exactly what I did with my first clothing brand. I just found what worked, and then within 2 weeks of testing that, I scaled to £5,000 in a single day, simply because I followed the data. I literally said, right, the data's saying this, that means I'm going to increase the budget. It's simple as that. It didn't matter if, I didn't want to make more money, because I know a lot of people, for some reason, don't want to scale ads. I just said, this is the data and this is what I'm going with. And so that is exactly what I went with. So all I did with this product when I scaled to 5K a day was I started with a £50 budget, and then I went to, in 48 hours, I went to 70. I went to £100 in daily budget. I went to £130 in daily budget. And then from there, 20% increase every single day because it was profitable and people wanted to buy it. My funnel was in place. I had a product that people wanted. It had a good price point, and that now enabled me to scale based on my 20% profit margins. Now, the trap that most people are going to fall into, if you decide to do this, is find the shiny winning product, run it for a week, and then simply just dump the product into the trash because you had a few sales, you thought, wow, this is great, you scaled it up, but then the ROAS started to decline and you couldn't keep scaling it. Well, that's fine, because most people just trash it at this point and they move on to the next product. But this is where you come in and where you differentiate yourself to most people. Most people running this strategy are just selling bad quality products. We focus on good quality products as a start, but we also focus on building this into a long-term brand, because with these pump and dumps, you're not going to quit your job. You're not going to make consistent revenue and profit in your bank if you just pump one product and dump it. You won't get good at marketing. That's the whole point of starting with this desire-based training, and make a good bit of money while doing it. So as soon as you find that winner, you focus on testing new creatives. What else is working for my competitors? Not for that one competitor. Look more broad, look out there, what is actually working. You make more videos of that, whether it be AI. You order the product to your home. You get UGC creators to make content for that product. You improve the product quality. You buy inventory. You focus on giving the customer a really good experience, giving custom packaging, custom thank you cards, doing a lot of email marketing. This brand that had a 25% returning customers. A lot of people have this thing about clothing being just terrible quality. But the truth about clothing is that you can get very good quality if you work with a good private agent. Now, there are plenty of private agents out there. We just have one specifically that help us with these clothing brands. And so because the product was high quality, the creatives were strong, the profit just kept on coming in every single day. I was able to get to 5K a day, like I said, in just a couple of weeks of just doing this exact same method I'm showing you right now. So stop listening to the gurus who are telling you to do this complicated method, because you're just going to hit a dead end, you're going to hit a wall, and it's going to be very difficult if you want to make money in online business. It depends what your goal is. One of the biggest things as well with this is low quality products. So if you want to learn how to make sure that you don't fall into the trap of chargebacks and clothing refunds and everything like that, then make sure to watch the video that I put in the description that destroys not just clothing stores, but most dropshipping brands out there, because I genuinely want you to succeed with this model.
So I came across this product and it's called daps.shop, okay? Okay guys, so today we're looking at Penrose Skin. Smell irresistible all day, every day. So it's a scent for men, I think, so shop now. They've got Crimson, it's like pheromone in the form of a cream instead of a spray, or a perfume. So you can see here, very nice website, well branded, looks luxurious. You can see Crimson is probably their best selling one. Inspired by Baccarat Rogue. I'm pretty sure this is a popular fragrance. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can see they've got the auto subscribe tick, so if people buy one, get one free, they automatically subscribe, so they pay monthly, they'll get it every month. So you can see they've got a few good flavors. They got free shipping, and it's mainly tailored to men. Okay, so
Okay, so I have like the list of 30 people. Took me about an hour to do. Okay. I'll use a quick journaling action. Goodbye. Yeah, just pretty detailed list of a few things that I could do. I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to sketch out the strategy right now, actually. Oops. I can watch Charlie Morgan's thing. So I'm gonna have to load this quickly.
OS walkthrough video. Now this video is pretty much designed just to kind of show you how to go through this module. At this point, you know, you've built out your mailboxes, you've got your infrastructure built out, you've chosen your system, you've sourced your leads, and now you need to go ahead and actually set of creating a proven, reliable, and scalable method to distribute your offer into your niche, generate interest, and attract prospects to your newly audited offer. These systems have been battle tested and iterated over 8 to 10 years across hundreds, if not thousands, of niches, offers, industries, and locations. Right? We've had over 5,000 clients stress test these systems, provide feedback, and they have been iterated and cold email systems. There may be more in the future, there may be less. We're constantly and lead source and deliverability, everything you need to set the foundations for the system you end up setting up afterwards. We're going to cover Terminator Looms, which is our video-based cold email approach, and we're going to show you the Loomless system, which is our quantity-based, text-based email system. So first things first, module 1 is cold email foundations. Now think of these as your foundational videos for all of the modules that you're going to see in the cold email systems, right? These videos are the building blocks of all of our cold email systems and will apply to every single module, right? We've strategized and we've constructed cold email foundations in a way so that you can set up the foundations of a killer cold email campaign, and then that will apply to whatever email system you want to run in the future. Whether or not you want to test one system using these foundational videos, run it for a little bit, then try another one, these foundations are the sandbox, the cornerstone, the building blocks of your system that's going to book you hundreds of sales calls every single month for your business. We'll teach you how to create and warm up your mailboxes, how to set up your cold email automation tools. Obviously, we do not want you sending manual emails into the void. We're going to show you how to strategize and automate. So all you have to do is top up your leads once a day and make sure you are responding quickly to leads. We're going to show you how to actually find and scrape and organize quality leads of decision makers within your niche. We're going to show you how to maintain impeccable email deliverability so you never, ever, ever go to the spam box. And we're also going to show you how to ultimately scale your campaigns with complete confidence, right? So a little my report here. If you click on this, it'll open up into a little video that's going to kind of break down a little bit more detail what to expect from this module. And break it down. I'm not going to go through it right here because it'll be a separate video in and of itself, but just click on this little My Reward picture here. Is a personalized, video-based cold email system designed for high-ticket offers and low-volume, high-value leads. You'll record a 60 to 90-second Loom video that directly addresses the prospect's pain points, and then you'll pair that with short, relevant emails, right? This approach builds trust very fast and dramatically boosts reply rates by showing real effort and personalization. Don't worry, you're not going to be recording hundreds of Looms every single day. We'll show you our automations softwares, so you just record one audio and then distribute that over multiple cold email campaigns to target your approach. Everyone who receives a Terminator Loom in their inbox will look at you and say, wow, this guy has taken the time to personally reach out to me, so I'm definitely going to reply. And it allows you to stand out in the inbox of your prospects. Now, this is best for high-ticket offers, right? It doesn't mean if you've got a low-ticket offer, it's not going to work. It just means this typically works best with high-ticket offers. Now, if you're in this program, you've normally got a high-ticket offer, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. And typically, this is better for low-volume, high-impact leads, right? If you've got a smaller niche, and you need to make sure that every single time you hit this prospect in your niche, they say, wow, this person has taken the time to record me a personalized video, then this is the system for you, essentially, right? In this module, you'll learn how to script, record, and send looms to your niche that convert, how to write cold email structure that support the video. We're not just going to give you scripts. We are going to give you scripts, obviously, but we're going to show you how to actually think and craft a cold email copy that gels very well around your actual loom you're sending them, so that every single prospect says, holy hell, he has sent me a personalized video, I'm going to respond and give this person my money straight away. And essentially, the final thing here, we're going to make sure you can scale effectively without losing that personalization. Terminator looms is lower volume. You won't be able to send 1,000 cold looms per day just because it will get very, very heavy on the infrastructure, but we don't need to send thousands of emails per day. You can get away with sending 50 to 100, 200 looms per day and make yourself so much money and convert so many sales, right? So essentially, Terminator looms breaks down into a few different steps in the system, right? We'll show you how to record looms, how to actually send looms with body copy, how to manage replies, book calls, and ultimately make sales. Now again, if you click on this My Board here, it will open up and we'll show you examples of looms we've recorded and sent, and we'll show you examples of actual emails that we sent out to book appointments. We'll show you the kind of replies you get here of actually sending a loom and having a prospect say, wow, this is personalized, I'm super interested. We're going to show you all the calls that we've booked from Terminator looms and ultimately all of the money that we've made personally, all of our clients have made from sending them. Now the loomless system uses short, punchy emails with very, very clean and very, very targeted targeting. And what you're going to get from running the loomless system is consistent replies without needing to add complexity in the form of a loom video, right? Now the loomless system is ideal for proven offers, right? And this system is ultimately built for efficiency and automation. Whereas with Terminator looms, you're going to struggle to send 1,000 per day. With the loomless system, you can scale up to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Hell, I've even seen people send 5,000 loomless emails every single day, right? And it's best for offers that are already dialed in, right? The reason this is best for offers that are already dialed in is because whereas you are not sending a loom, you don't have as much of an opportunity to build that trust and rapport that you hate the fact that you've only sent it. And how to actually test different messages, email deliverability so you never, ever, ever hit the spam box. These are the foundational videos and they will apply to all of the modules. So step one, watching this training, you need to create your mailboxes, set up your automation software, start to source your lead system, you'll create your mailbox and show you how I implement what I tell you to do as you go. I see all the time people asking, can I cut a corner here? Can I cut a corner here? Now you can do that. 6 to 12 months when it comes to actually scaling and running profitable cold email campaigns. And this video is going to show you exactly how to think, act, and make a lot of money using cold email. Now, here's what we're going to cover. We have 14 principles to go through here. Number one, the most important, is volume, and we're going to explain why sending a very high volume of emails is the way to win in 2026 and beyond. Next is going to be frequency, how frequently you are hitting the same lead, and we're going to teach you why this is so important and why you need to get any kind of limiting beliefs around only being able to reach out to a lead once and then it's burnt, okay? Metrics don't get worse. The more you follow up with someone, you actually hit them when they're experiencing a problem. I'm going to break down a bit more detail why that is. Next is going to be consistency. We have follow-ups, the result, the offer, POC versus scale. This is proof of concept versus scale. We're going to cover quality, outsource desperation, thinking versus copying, vagueness, outreach lag, doubt conditioning, and finally, the lead quality paradox. So let's get stuck into it. Okay, so welcome to the first principles of cold email, of profitable cold email campaigns. Now, cold email is a volume game first and a strategy game second, right? I can confidently say that I've tried every single creative angle imaginable. I've tested it full-time in my R&D role at the company. And I can confidently say that it does not matter in the slightest what you are saying in your email anywhere near as much as you think it does. What truly matters is getting your email delivered to a lead when they are experiencing and feeling the problem that you can help them with. Okay? It doesn't matter what you say or how you arrange the words. I found that copywriting really does not matter too much. What matters is you understand that person's problem, right? What they think about when they wake up in the morning, what they talk to their team about on Zoom calls, what they're thinking about at 3 a.m. when they can't sleep. You need to understand exactly what they want, exactly why they can't get it currently, and position your email as a gap from the current situation in their business to their desired situation. And that is all that matters. And truthfully, if the person you're emailing doesn't have a problem right now, you can't help them, right? No amount of ICP scoring, AI personalization, offer, guarantee, results, or creative can change that. If they don't have a problem, they do not need your help. I need you to remember that, okay? Because it's so important for cold email. Luckily for us, people's problems in business change on a weekly basis. And personally, I feel like every single day something new arises that I've got to fix or try to adapt to, especially with the rise of AI. Like, something is changing every single day. One month you may be on top of the world, all your clients are getting results, all your calls are qualified, they're showing up, you're consistently booking, and most importantly, you're making money. Fast forward literally 10 to 20 days, the next month you could have 3 clients leave, all your ad accounts could get banned, 80% of your calls could suddenly be unqualified and you can't sell to them, and your MRR, your monthly recurring revenue, is down 60% from the previous month. Okay? And this happens all the time. Every month people's businesses go up and down, especially in the online space. And I'm sure you can see which month an email about more appointments would resonate best on, right? Cold email is, you want to think of it like fishing, okay? You cast a line into a huge ocean with a juicy piece of bait attached. That's your offer, your value, your exchange, your service, right? And you wait until one hungry fish, that's your prospect, comes along to take a bite, and that means they actually reply to you. But if the fish ain't hungry, or your bait sucks. You're going to be sitting there all day waiting for a bite or a reply that never comes. Now, there are two schools of thought here, right? We can either make the bait more appealing, and that means changing the copy, changing the offer, writing things differently, or we can just cast more pieces of bait, right? And what do you think is easier? Casting more bait. Essentially, you always want to look to send more emails and increase inputs and cast more pieces of bait into the big ocean, which is your niche, rather than trying to optimize. Because if you're playing a low volume game and you're sending 50 to 100 emails per day, no amount of optimization is going to fix the fact that you're just not reaching out to enough people. You're not casting enough pieces of bait. Because think of it like this, right? If I was to, there's no email copy in the world that can get above a 10% positive reply rate. I'm certain of that. And if you've got one, brilliant. Show me it, right? There's no email copy out there that can do that. Every single iteration you make is going to have a marginal increase to the percentage of people that will positively reply to that email. So you can send 100 emails per day and you can optimize the copy 100 times, and I promise you'll maybe add 1, 2, 3% to your positive reply rate. Not even that, it'll be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3%, right? It's a lot easier just to send more emails because we can immediately get a 50% increase or 100% increase by just going to 200 emails per day. I want to drill this into you right now. Like, if you're going to be playing the cold email game, you have to have a high stake, right? Think of cold email like paid ads, right? You're not going to get success with paid ads if you're spending $50 a day, right? But you are going to get success with cold ads, paid ads, if you're spending 10,000 per day, right? It's ultimately a numbers game, and volume rewards the winners, right? Now, I want to be clear here. I'm not saying that creative isn't important. I'm exaggerating here, right? You're not going to book appointments sending feet pics to chiropractors, or you might do, you never know. What I'm trying to explain is this. If you've chosen a niche and you understand the problem that they are truly experiencing 2 a.m. when they can't sleep, in the morning when they're filled with anxiety, and on team meetings when they're talking to their team, they're like, oh, we really need to fix this problem, right? And you at least have an offer built that can bridge the gap from where they're currently at, where they're facing this problem, to where they want to be, where it solves. What you can do is pretty much arrange those words in any format on the page and get results in cold email. Could we arrange them in a way that gets more results? Sure. Am I personally going to show you, watching this video, the most optimal way of arranging those words? Absolutely, right? Am I going to show you how to use AI to personalize every single email to every single lead? Absolutely, right? But finding what works takes testing, and ultimately testing takes time. And if you're watching this module and you're part of our products, you don't have all the time in the world to test copy. You just need appointments, right? What I'm really trying to articulate here is the importance of volume as one of the key principles of cold email, because without it, all else fails. And I've personally watched agency owners, coaches, and consultants kill their cold email campaigns with low sending volume before they've even begun. And if you're watching this video and you're thinking you're just going to test cold email and send 20 to 30 emails per day, how even less than 200 emails per day, you're going to lose. Right? I truly mean that. And I mean that not to discourage you, but to actually motivate you to actually have a high stake in this game, okay? And I've also scaled email campaigns with a 0.1% ABR in the e-com space, right? Some niches do just have a lower ABR. You can't get hold of the owners, they don't want to receive emails from you, they don't really need your help, but the problem's there. You can scale with a 0.1% ABR, and I've also scaled with an 8% ABR on the medical tourism niche, right? It doesn't really matter, right? One is easier to scale than the other, but both can achieve the exact same output by simply increasing the inputs that you're putting into it, right? Now, what you really truly need to understand before you get into playing the cold email game is inputs versus outputs, right? Simply put, more emails sent equals more meetings booked. Volume first, strategy second. An example here, right? Let's say we have someone called John, and they send 200 emails per day with a 0.5% ABR, and he's currently booking 1 sales calls per day. Now, what John wants to be doing is booking 4 sales calls per day. Now, John's got 2 options, right? He can either use option A, and he can optimize the creative, change the copy, add looms, add VSLs, add more personalization. This is hard mode, right? What he's going to do is keep the volume at 200 emails per day, and he could improve the ABR from 0.5% to 2% to get to those 4 calls per day. Now, that's a 4x improvement in performance, or a 400% increase in performance, right? Now, this requires testing copy, messaging iterations, changing your list, and ultimately weeks, months, or sometimes even years of experimentation. The outcome is going to be 4 calls per day, and that could take him anywhere from 3 to 4, 5, 6, 7, even longer in months, right? Now, option B, he can just increase his input, right? This is easy mode. You can keep that ABR at 0.5%, and instead of changing things, just increase your volume from 200 per day to 800 per day. Now, that's a 400% increase in volume, right? All this requires is more domains and more mailboxes. You don't have to change the copy, you don't have to test anything, and you get immediate scalability. The outcome is 4 calls per day, and the time frame is 2 weeks, because you're going to have to wait for these mailboxes to warm up. But ultimately, you're going to get an immediate increase there, right? Now, this example stresses the simplicity and effectiveness of just increasing outputs rather than optimizing copy. Now, I understand in Acquisition Genesis and all the modules we optimize for metrics, okay? But no matter where your ABR is, it's a simple math. If you're at 0.2% ABR and you're booking 1 call per day, and you want to get to 2 calls per day, you just double your emails without changing anything, right? And I promise you, your competitors are doing that. And if you're worried about not being able to afford it, cold email's not for you. And I mean that with a little bit of tough love. If you've got the money set aside in your business where you can run at a volume that's going to get you appointments for at least 2 to 3 months, even if you're scraping the barrel, just put volume into this. What I'm trying to really stress here is don't start cold email and try and play it safe. You need to go from high volume from the outset. The next thing I want to cover here is frequency, because I see volume and frequency as the number 1 and number 2 most important things when it comes to actually scaling successful cold email campaigns. And I've done it before for years. This is how you do it, right? Now, I like to approach cold email sending in any niche with the same line of thinking. How many times can my client contact the same person with a solution to their problem every single year? Or how many times can I contact the same person with a solution to their problem every single year? Now, if you can hit a lead in your niche 2 times per year, you've essentially got 2 windows of opportunity to get a reply from them, okay? Now, let's assume your campaigns have a 50% open rate. We don't track open rate, but let's just say, for argument's sake, your campaigns have a 50% open rate. You're immediately down to 1 real opportunity per year to actually pitch someone. But let's say, for example, we're able to hit the same contact every 30 days. That's 12 times per year. Now, with a 50% open rate, that gives you 6 to 8 opportunities every single year to get into their inbox, resonate with the problem, which is changing on a monthly basis, and get a reply or a booking. Understand here, people's problems in business change so frequently, okay? What we are trying to do is get our email delivered to a lead when they're experiencing and feeling the problem that we can help them with. And if you're only reaching them 1 opportunity per year with low volume, you've got 12 months in a year, and you've got a 12% chance of hitting them when they're experiencing that problem. But if we were to hit them 6 to 8 times per year, we've got a 60 to 80% chance of hitting them when they're experiencing that problem. It's not about convincing someone, it's about popping up into their inbox on a day or a month when they're feeling that problem, okay? And this is why volume will win. Now, the North Star goal with gold email is to hit your entire entire total addressable market, that's your TAM, every 30 days, right? Now, this is the North Star goal. I don't expect anyone to really be there on week 1, day 1. And if you have the budget, do that, right? But you want to put these odds in your favor to hit them when they're experiencing the problem as frequently as possible, okay? Get all this limiting beliefs out your head that you can only hit a lead once and it's burned forever. I personally send cold emails to the same list every 30 days, right? And I send high volume and it works. So let's say your TAM is 100,000 contacts. To achieve that, you would need to contact 5,000 new leads every single day, i.e. send 5,000 cold emails every single day. And I know that sounds ridiculous. That sounds crazy. What's this English guy with a flat cap on trying to convince me to send 5,000 new emails per day, okay? But when you couple this volume-based strategy with hyper-targeted AI personalization, insane deliverability, and lightning fast speed to lead, you achieve total market domination, okay? Now, most people struggle to contact more than 100 leads per day because they spend hours building, they spend hours trying to find, hyper-targeted lists that are filtered to the exact kind of person they can help. And they spend hours rewriting copy to find copy that just is going to work perfectly. And they're trying to send the perfect email to every single lead. And in my testing, perfect just doesn't
Got
exist
to move
with cold
this.
email.
It's crazy. I have a call, so I'll be back.